afternoon, folks. Welcome back to UndercoverETuk UK, and today's video is a little bit of a clear-up video from the rant video I did. So I ranted about 3 channels. They were just 3 random channels, and to be honest with you, it wasn't really directly meant for just them. It just so happens that over the course of a 2-week, 3-week period, I just lost my rag a little bit, you know, and for that I apologise. But I stand by what I say. Content creators that are delving into the UAP topic do need to work out what UAPs are. They need to be able to show the people exactly what they're meant to be looking for, and I'm going to try and explain that in the best way possible in this video. Okay, so hopefully it works out really well. People delve into it more, start asking more questions, because that's what you should do in order to get to the answer you need to get to. Okay, rather than just dismissing stuff because they look like bugs or they look like birds or whatever. Funnily enough, that's their goal, to mimic what we see every day so that we don't notice, funnily enough. And it might be convenient. Some of you might go, well, that's convenient, Rob. You're just going to film loads of bugs and call them UFOs, and because they have to look like bugs, we have to take your word for it. No, that's not the case. I'm going to show you guys today exactly why I believe these things are UAP, and I've got an overwhelming sheer amount of evidence to show you guys, and here we go. Let's get straight into it. So Polarity, Josh, I'm going to just play you the response video that he done, and I appreciate it. Respect, mate, absolute respect. So this is Karen Rickson Thomas's capture, and this was the last one that I showed Josh on his Discord server, and a long story short, he said it was just a bug, said that there was wings visible, and he gives his analysis on this right now. So let's check it out.
So fair play. You've sort of heard what he has to say there. So look, let's jump back here. I don't think, okay. After I said what I said in Discord, which is what he found disrespectful, this guy's obviously based in the UK, right? So the time zones are whack. This is the reply that I got at 3 in the morning. So I wasn't online to see this. So let's take a look. He said, so he replied, so you can see my original comment there. I said, okay, well, we can consider this one debunked, laughing face, fly emoji. And at 3:07 a.m., he said, imagine wanting this out there, disclosure and all that, and being in denial. The speed of scientists can easily determine that it's not a bug, coupled with the size, and it's a still shot that shows a hockey puck-shaped UAP. Considering it debunked based on opinion is not good. I'll wear that. I'm no one to officially debunk anything, 100%. But let's just continue. Let's not forget the hit it leaves on the cell phone volume. This is a radio hit, and we have many of them. Anyway, ignoring facts and being on the wrong side of this is entirely up to everyone. Sad times. I'll leave you guys right here. And then he left the Discord server. So I woke up to that message, and I couldn't engage in a discussion with him because he was gone. So, first of all, okay, you said the speed that a scientist can easily determine this is not a bug. Now, with all due respect, you don't strike me as a scientist, and neither am I, okay? But you said you have watched my channel, so you probably know that I'm a visual effects artist. Well, I don't work as one anymore, but I have. I studied and I trained and I've worked in the industry as a visual effects artist, okay? So at the very least, I can give you like an informed opinion and analysis of what I'm looking at. And I've done a little bit here of just kind of breaking up the frames that we can see this thing. Now, first of all, the big issue that I saw with this is that we're looking in the garden. We're not looking in the sky. We're looking in the garden. Okay. So that's already kind of like, that's weird. That's not normal. You also mentioned that it leaves a hit in the audio. Now, I didn't notice that in the video that you showed. I couldn't hear anything. I don't know if there was any extra evidence. I couldn't see it. But I think it's also pretty common understanding that, you know, UAPs are silent, and they're generally silent. If anything, they leave like an audible hum, like a guitar amp that's not been plugged in. Okay, so if this is leaving like a tick or a snick on audio, it's probably, to me, from what I'm looking at, and when I hear that, I think this looks like a decent sized bug, and you can probably hear its wings flapping. Just like, you know, if you live in Australia, you know what a Christmas beetle is. I don't know if they're called something else in another country, but this looks like a Christmas beetle. Okay, go and Google a Christmas beetle. I'm sure you get a picture of what they look like. In fact, let me just Google Christmas beetle and see if they have another name. No, they don't. But here you go, Christmas beetle. I don't know if these are in other countries, but they're in Australia. They come around Christmas time, and they're huge. Like, they're huge. And
Okay, brilliant. So you get where he's coming from, right? He's just looking at this from a very skeptical perspective. Surely it's a bug. It's small enough to be a bug. It's not even flying in the sky. It's low to the ground. It looks like a Christmas beetle. That's a Christmas beetle, and it's kind of left there, right? And he kind of apologises for you, Josh. You kind of apologise for coming across. You kind of see how you came across disrespectful, and I'll explain why I felt like I did. We'll just go back just a wee bit to here. So the part that I found disrespectful is this bit. Consider this one debunked, smiley face and a fly emoji. So I felt like you were just laughing at the evidence, and prior to me writing this out, I had written a whole lot more and uploaded some videos of radio hits. So I'd given quite a bit of context before I started throwing out videos, and you didn't read it. Okay, so all I saw is you analysed the video, called it a bug, debunked it, and left a smiley laughing face and a fly emoji. So that's why I said what I said, because my reaction was, well, this guy's just treating me with disrespect. He's got no knowledge of what I'm actually talking about because he's done zero research on what I'm talking about, and I'm going to just leave because I didn't feel like you were worth my time. But out of the 3 people that I called out on that day, I thought if anyone was actually going to respond, it would be you, Josh. And respect to you, you did respond. So this is my response back, and that was just to clear that up. Look, I'm not a little, bitch. I didn't lose sleep over it. I just felt like, a content creator that wants disclosure and advocates for disclosure, just like myself, doesn't know what he's looking at, and that's not like. I don't want you to be like, oh, now I've got to admit I'm wrong because Rob's going to show me all this evidence. 99% of the population do not know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is why I'm glad that you've even brought it up, because I can then respond to you with the evidence without having to try and throw it into a video somewhere at random and hope that you pick it up, right? So the evidence is overwhelming. I'm going to go into it. But before I do, I'll just carry on with what you were saying here. So we've gone over the Discord text. You've then gone over the snippets of the object itself. Now, me personally, because I've looked at so many of these videos, I can tell just on speed that this thing is a UAP and not a bug. And that sounds crazy, okay, but I've seen so many bugs fly past the lens, close to the lens, far away from the lens. I can tell the difference in speed. And that's something that takes a bit of practice. Granted, not everyone's going to have that practice. They're not all looking at videos like I am, right? But if you're going to analyse this properly, you've got to take into account that this object here, which you're calling a bug, okay, is between Karen, who stood in her garden, and this shed here. Okay, so you can see the bug is clearly between the shed and Karen. Okay, so within meters of her. And what I'm saying is, if you're saying that this is a bug, this bug would have to be the size of my fist, because this bug, looking at it against the size of this panel, is the size of my fist. It's as simple as that. If that bug was to travel closer and closer to Karen, it would get larger and larger, and it would be way too big to be a bug. First of all. Second of all, it does move too fast. How do I know it moves too fast? Like I said, it's just down to experience. I think we could get a scientist to actually measure the speed somehow, some way, and they would be able to confirm. Now, before I get into the evidence, and that's obviously going to be the deal breaker for most people, I say with 100% certainty that these objects that you're seeing on this screen right now have been seen in other countries. The exact same objects. Whether they are exactly the same individual objects or whether they are just replicas that are just found in every country, I don't know. right? These things travel fast enough that they can travel the world in no time. Okay? When I say they can travel fast, they can travel at over 2,000 miles an hour, and that has been clocked, tested, and it actually has been admitted by the Pentagon. They completely approve of all the research that we've done, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But before we get into it, yeah, the analysation of this, in my opinion, the fact that you said, the first thing you said was, it's not in the sky. So are you saying that UFOs will only fly high up in the sky and not down low? That's like saying they will only fly fast but not slow. I mean, just because someone owns a Ferrari doesn't mean they're going to drive 140 miles an hour everywhere because they can. You know, they drive slow when they have to and they speed up when they have to. It's no different for the UAP. You know, they go fast, they go slow, sometimes they get caught out and they get seen. But they've worked it out. If they travel over 2,000 miles an hour, our eyes just can't see them. Okay, we only see with a 24 frames per second capability. That's what our eyes are capable of. Okay, we need at least 30 frames per second in order to see these things. So in other words, if these things were to move, I don't know what the mass would be, but if these things were to move like 500 miles an hour less, we would start seeing them more. Okay, so they've got this fine tuned, but at the same time, now we are seeing them everywhere. Okay, so it's gone from just seeing them in certain parts of America and other parts of the world to seeing them everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to get into it. Just hang in there, bear with me, folks. But just carrying on from this video, look, Josh, I totally understand why you thought initially this was a bug, but you've got to be critically thinking about the size of this thing, the speed of this thing, the fact that I gave you a whole list of reasons as to why these things are UAPs beforehand. That's on you, unfortunately. But there's nothing wrong with finding out something new, folks. And I don't want people to then look at this and go, shit, you know what? I could be wrong about this and I'm going to just keep hush. No. Dig. Find out. Research. Ask questions. Film yourself. Okay? And then go public with it. This is what we need to do. And now I'm going to get into the evidence. So, Josh, I appreciate your response. I hope you didn't find what I said at all rude. I hope you didn't lose any sleep over it. I know it did bug you a little bit, and do you know what, mate? I understand if you saw that message at 3 in the morning. Well, it came through at 3 in the morning. You didn't see it until after I'd left, okay? But the reason why I left is because I just found it a bit rude, and I explained why. Simple as that. Do I dislike you, buddy? No. I just think that you're one of the millions and millions of people out there that do not realise what we're seeing in the skies. And now I hope you're going to carry on watching, because now I'm going to put in the effort to convince you otherwise. And that's, you need the evidence, right? That's absolutely fine. We've got 2.8 thousand people that have subscribed to my channel because I'm showing the evidence, and this is exactly what we plan to do right now. So let's get one thing out of the way. The UAP let off a radio frequency, X and K band. Okay, so there's the X band between 8 and 12 gigahertz, and then the K band is between 18 and 27 gigahertz. Now, why they give off two different bands, I don't know. What they're doing in that moment that they're giving off these radio frequencies, I don't know. But they give them, they do emit these frequencies. Now, if folks know their science, you'll know that bugs and birds do not give off the X and K band frequencies. Okay, this suggests that these things are mechanical. Now, moving on. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, UAP reporting trends from 1996 to 2023. Okay, this was handed to the Pentagon, and they approve of the information that Dr. Robert Shape has provided. Okay, the morphology, the orientation of these objects, they're round. Atypical orientation, but they pretty much are round objects. Okay, they vary a little bit from like a football size to like a basketball size, but they are pretty much round. Okay, between 1 and 4 meters, debatable, because since I've done my research I have found smaller UAP, and they seem to go smaller or larger depending on where they are in proximity to people. So debatable. I've seen them go down to the size of a pea. Okay, on the size thing. Colour, white, silver, translucent. Well, they're talking more about orbs here. Okay, the hockey pucks we're seeing are black, and they're leaving a white plasma around them, which is covering them up. So I would like to add black to that list, and maybe even a brown, because we see some kind of different colours. Now, we can only go on what we see. Okay, so I would in fact add colours to that. Altitude, between 10k and 30k feet. Honestly, I've seen these things right down to as low as the road. Maggie in Australia, Brisbane, Australia, where you're from, Josh, over in Aussie. Maggie has filmed one of these things going right across the road as she's waiting for the bus stop, and it moves fast, folks. So, I mean, look, if anyone's been watching my live feed the last couple of days, I've been catching them from the window just next to me, okay, and I'm on a 3rd floor flat. So, you know, I'm not thousands of feet up in the air, but they're flying right above my flat and right past my window. So I can tell you, just from my evidence, that needs a tweak as well. Honestly, I believe they can go anywhere from 0 to like 8,000 miles an hour. I believe they can, but they choose to go around 2 for the most part. So that's where I'm at with that. Propulsion, no thermal exhaust detected. There isn't. You're right. They don't make a noise, Josh. You know, they don't make a noise. The clicking I'll get into in a minute, and also the X and K band I'll get into in a minute. I personally haven't heard any humming, but I have heard them on the approach to go right past a camera, and it's not just anyone's camera as well. It's someone that's been filming these things for a long time. So again, I will show you that information. Radar, intermittent, X-band, and then in brackets 8-12 gigahertz. Okay, so going back to what I just showed you regarding the radar hits and the signals, the frequencies, the Pentagon openly admits that the X-band is found from these objects. They don't talk so much about the K-band, but we have since confirmed that they do X and K-band. Okay, but at the moment on paper, as far as I can see, up until 2023. These objects do emit the X-band radio frequency, okay? And then it goes there, radio 1 to 3 gigahertz, 8 to 12 gigahertz. Thermal, it's intermittent. Shortwave, infrared, medium wave, infrared, okay? So you can see these things on infrared, but it's intermittent, which means they're going hot and cold and God knows what else. They are just, whatever they are, they can seemingly change. And this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with morphology. We're dealing with different speeds, different heights, different shapes and sizes, and we are getting radio hits on approximately 8% of our findings. 8% doesn't sound like much, but when you've got thousands and thousands of videos, 8% is quite a bit. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of those with you today, but this is something that the US openly admit to, okay, regarding the UFO phenomena. They can't say whether they're from outer space or interdimensional or dimensional. They can't say where they're from. They just say that they're there. And that's it. And that's where it's left, and that's why Arrow always come up with the same statements. There's no evidence to suggest that these things are from outer space. It's because they don't want to share that. If they are from outer space, they don't want to share that. They only want to share this. Exist, give off radio frequencies, size, shape, speed. Done. Right? This is where we're at. This is what me and Robert are talking about all the time, and that's Robert, a custodian file, by the way. You need to check his channel out. He's responsible for bringing this up. And just so, in case anyone's like, well, that could be made up, that's Congress, you know, I've got some pictures to show you now. Now, this is Robert with his camera. As you can see here, he's got quite a setup. It looks like a bloody safe on the top of this thing. Okay, but he's got his radio detectors set up with his cameras, so that he can pick everything up. He's got a good visual. He's getting the audio come back, saying that when things have gone past, they pick up the radio detection. It's amazing stuff. It really is top effort, top effort. And that's what it looks like from within. He's got it looking really cool. It's just an amazing setup. And you know, when he's sat at his desk and he hears these helicopters going past, he's there. You know, he's right there. Brilliant. And I just want to go over this one. This is a special photo. And for anyone that's like, what the hell is this? What's going on here? So this is Robert with his camera, his radio detector, and guess who this is? This is a lady that's come down from the Vatican to talk to Robert about these anomalies. The Vatican and the US government are fully aware of the evidence that Robert's been put forward. Fully aware. So when we say we've got evidence, we really have. We've got a lot of evidence, and it's taken me a little while to put all of this together because I've just downloaded like 150 files to make sure I've got what I need to show you. So please keep watching. It's really important. But anyway, I think point and case made. The camera work, the radio detection, the Pentagon, the Vatican, they all know about this stuff, right? The only people that don't know about this stuff is 99% of the world. Everyone else does, just 99% of people don't. And so let's get into the real hard evidence. Okay, now I've got 106 files just here in this folder, but I've got lots to come out from. So you probably want to hear some radio hits. So let's start off with some radio hits, and I'm going to try and pick up some ones that I haven't shown on the channel. Just turn this down a little bit because I don't want to turn my mic off every time.
Some kind of radar hit.
These are the UAP going past
I
now.
saw something on top, I'm not sure.
There we go. There's the UAP. Boom. And then we get a couple more go through as well. That's it, folks. Translucent, white, almost. This is what they're seeing over in Marina del Rey, okay? Now, I'm not sure whether it's the atmosphere or, you know, the climate there or whatever, but we tend to get different, like, some are really dense and looking quite solid, and some look translucent like that. So I think it depends on the camera and the environment, but ultimately, and I'm going to keep going, we see the same objects all over the world. And when I say all over the world, I mean everywhere. Europe, America, Canada, Britain, everywhere.
Come on. Just don't give me one dragon. Come on. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But where is it?
He couldn't see it, but there it is, right there. Yeah, he couldn't see it, but it's right there. It's giving off the radio hit, and again, that means that it must be at least part mechanical. Okay, it's not a bug, it's not a bird. Let's move on. LAPD.
I'm very surprised. It's not 100%, but I'm very surprised nevertheless. I thought he'd get one tag. Wow. Ooh. He's turning. He's turning like he saw something and the X-band kicked in. Darn it. I didn't see it.
Fast movers.
Shoot.
You saw how that helicopter reacted the
slow it
moment
down.
this UAP comes past.
He's flying. He sees it. I don't see it. The X-band saw it. Keep the focus. Oh, man.
And then his phone rings. Do you know what I mean? Urgh. He'd be like,
Murphy's
go away!
Law, the phone would ring.
But there you go, that's what it did. That's the route it did. Man. I love it. I love this. The research that Robert does is amazing. And it really has kick-started all of this. There you go.
Ooh, we got an X-band.
So quick, so small, so fine, and so quick. It's incredible. Incredible stuff. And look, it's just continuous, folks. This is continuous. I'm going to play it. See, look how subtle this thing is. You don't even see it, and then when you do, you're like, gee, where the hell's that come from? And I'll tell you why it's such a struggle, because he's filming so far away, and he's using the best cameras, you know, to zoom in and get a glimpse of these things. It's just ridiculous, you know, all dated and timed. We've got, Doc says there's about 15,000 aircraft that have come through since since he started looking at these things, but that's really that's like half the number. He just doesn't want to overwhelm people. But you're talking well over 25,000, 30,000 aircraft that have flown into this very area to check these dragons out. And folks, and this is really, really important, okay? Look at this dragon. Look at this. The plasma coming off either side. These objects with the plasma coming off either side are giving radio frequencies. They are UFOs, folks. And I'm seeing these things outside my window. Just take a mental note of this object right here. I'm going to just zoom in so that you guys can see, because there are some people out there that are completely doubtful to the research we're doing. And I get it. I get it, because when something looks like that, it looks like a fly. Okay, but it shouldn't be giving off radio frequencies. It shouldn't be harassing helicopters and planes. But they do. All the time. And not only that, they're seen at ground level now. They're at ground level, folks. So look, whilst you're unsure, you've got the question, why is this thing giving off radio frequencies? And we've been calling for people to film the skies, get your radio detectors out if you have one, and try and get some hits, because I promise you, you're not going to get a hit off a bug or a bird or anything like that. It will only be stuff that's mechanical, that's physically giving out radio frequencies. Check the plasma out, folks, look. And if you're like, look, are you sure they're not wings? 100% sure. These wings are not flapping and vibrating really fast like this. These things are just shooting out randomly, you know, within each frame. So it's completely different, completely different. Now this is just Marina del Rey in the USA, okay, in Los Angeles. There is so much more around the world.
Trigger the radar if you want.
Ask and you shall receive.
There he goes. Did you hear that? I've got to turn it up. We got radar hit. I didn't see anything.
It was down here, but behind your timer, I think, Robert. Oh, there's another one. Zips right past. So for anyone who's wondering, who is Robert, Dr. Robert Shape? Who is he? So he is a clinical pharmacist, and he kick-started the delivery of pharmaceutical goods in the US all those years ago. So he is responsible for a lot of good in the US, and he's now retired and put everything on a back burner to do this. So Google him, do your research, watch his videos, custodian file. There you go, another one. There it is. And we'll just play that. It's super quick, but because it's so far away, it stays in the frame for a longer period of time. And that just reminds me of what we saw at Stephen Henchcliffe's house in the UK just the other day. Look at this thing. Super quick, blinking in and out of visual, and it's just the same hockey puck. You know, same thing. And there's no way that radar detector's going off if that's a bug or a bird. Alright, I think I've made my point with the radar hits, and this is just a small portion. Honestly, I've got a whole folder here. I could keep going. I'll just quickly show you some interpolations that Robert's done as well. So you can see where the objects are in the moment they're captured, and you can see the gap. Yeah, this thing is moving way too fast, and we're only capturing each frame. It's moving like this. You know, whereas a bug, you'd see the true movement in every frame, but in this, they're moving that fast. We're seeing them meters apart from each other. Same object, just boom, 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 letting out the plasma. Always surrounding helicopters, aircraft, that sort of thing. So if you're wondering, like, what if you don't have a radio detector? How do you know if you're getting clicked? Well, they do leave a click on the camera. So this is in Surrey, England, taken by Alex. And it's really hard to hear. You probably have to turn the volume right up. But as the UAP comes across this bird, we get a click, ladies and gentlemen. It's the same objects that we're seeing over in Marina del Rey, but in the UK. You see? It's just same objects, same plasma, And this is why I do my enhancements. I zoom in, I get the clearest shot, and I do an enhancement, because at the end of the day, this is a real UFO. Okay, and it just so happens, actually, coming away from this video for a second and going onto the Discord server, if I go to Hockey Puck Dragon UAP, it's this one here, Alex's bird tagging in Surrey, UK, and this is the enhancement. Now, if you're wondering how come we can kind of see into this thing, when they emit their plasma, it's like highly charged electricity. It actually creates an X-ray around the object, and sometimes we can see inside them. And I'm a firm believer in this, because this is not the first time this has happened. We have seen inside this Hockey Puck UAP, and it does look like there's an occupant inside there. I know it looks like some kind of cartoon, but this is what we're dealing with, folks. We're dealing with like something from out of the Twilight Zone here. These things move in incredible ways, and they have occupants. And if you don't believe me, if you really don't believe me, and this is my Discord server, by the way, for the channel. This is another one that was taken in Oklahoma that also was on Robert's channel. This was a flying saucer that glided down past the camera, and it was just so swift in its movement, and it was spinning round while it was moving. It was mad. It's got little tubes either side, and it was shooting out orbs or other objects extremely fast. Okay, it really was something out of the Twilight Zone, and you can see the shape of the saucer, and then you can see stuff inside it, folks. Right? So obviously, I went through I got sent an interpolation and went through every single photo, and this is what I managed to enhance from it, folks. Look, there's something inside there. A bed maybe, or something. I don't know. There's something sat here. Look at this. There's something. There is a pilot here, sat here. Okay, and I've got loads of other photos which really clear this up, and it does look like a pilot with short legs, sat there. Looks like a bed of some kind, something here, or an incubator or something. And this is a flying saucer. Now, for anyone that's like, really, I mean, come off it. Ben in Oklahoma was recording all week, and what was he recording? He was recording the dragons. He was recording these Hockey Puck UAP, and it just so happens in that moment he captured a saucer, and he didn't just capture it on one day. He caught it on several days. You know, I put it on the channel the other day, and this is what we're dealing with. Look, Hockey Puck UAP zipping through the sky extremely fast, plasma either side of it on this one. It really does look like a hockey puck. But they come in different shapes and sizes. They are quick. They leave radio frequencies and clicks on the camera. Look at this one, Northern Ireland, Belfast. Look at it. This is like something I recorded out of my window the other day, but it's a slightly different shape. You know, maybe we caught it at a different angle. Look at this one. It's like a bullet. And this is what I was talking about with the browny colour. They need to add this sort of colour onto the list there, because we are seeing black and brown UAP. Although I think this dark bit here is the hockey puck, and then this is probably just plasma on the top there. It makes more sense to me. It depends how you interpret it, but look at this stuff. Look at this. This is okay. This one was taken. So look at MB's capture in Northern Ireland. Yeah. This one was taken by Big Papa Paul's Radio Control Adventures. So he wasn't even filming for UAP. Okay, he was just filming his radio control helicopter in the sky. And I checked out his YouTube channel, and this sucker zips right past. Like, it comes from back here, comes out from the field, zips right past his shoulder, and it tags his helicopter. That's what it does. And it looked like this in the moment. Like a little turtle or something with wings, or one flipper broken or something. I don't know. But this is crazy. This is crazy stuff. Surrey, England, Alex. Again, just hockey pucks coming out of her ears. Look at that from Alex in Surrey. And then look at this from Robert Shape and Marina Del Rey. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Look, Melbourne, Australia, from Ben. Check that out. Bit of plasma, really white jet of plasma here. UAP, flipping mental. Alright, I'll tell you what, let's go on to one of my captures. So, this is what I took the other day. Just one of my captures. Honestly, I was filming for a few hours, and I caught quite a bit. Check this out. This is real time. Real speed. From my window just to the left of me. I was live. And you can see why I'm concerned. This thing is exactly the same as what we're seeing in all the other countries, okay? And if I had a radar detector, I could tell you now it would have been going off at some point. I was recording for like 6 hours. I caught quite a few different captures, and this one is just epic. The speed of that thing. And some would go, it looks just like a fly. Well, that's the goal. That's what they're meant to be doing. They're meant to be looking like flies, to throw us off, okay? But when the radio hits go off, you know they're not bugs. You know they're not bugs. And then when you start recording bugs, you can judge on the speed, and you know they're different. And these things always look the same, you know. They never show like antennae or legs or anything like that. They are just black hockey pucks with wings that sporadically shoot out in different parts of this craft, and they are seen all over the place. Now that was a capture I took, just one of many, folks, just one of many. Now I wanted to show you that, but I wanted to get onto other things other than the radio hits. Now I've only shown you one clip so far with just the clicking of a UAP tagging a bird from Alex. I want to show you this one. It's East Texas Palestine Lake. Now it's not a hockey puck UAP. It's a light craft of sorts. Now I say a light craft, it could be a hockey puck just surrounded by plasma, okay, because this thing really does, you see? It just looks like a white line in the sky there. And that to me is just really good cloak technology, in my opinion. That's a click it's left on the camera. And you can't even say that's a bird. And you know, this is like 1 in 27, 28 videos that Tony Franklin has sent me. So again, he was recording a lot during that time that Ben was recording in Oklahoma, and they're 250 miles apart, and they were both capturing Dragon UAP and saucers. There's a lot of evidence there. I can show it all day long. So yeah, look, folks, I just wanted to show you that. And while we're on the while we've got that Dragon UAP in mind, okay, and keep it in mind, Christine Smith, North Carolina. Look at these objects just zipping through the sky here. She's just filming randomly. Put the camera down, stabilised. Again, low to the ground, not too high up. Although some of these are quite high up. Some of them are actually quite low. And you just saw another one here. See that? Look at these things. They're zipping. And a lot of people would just say they're flies, Rob. They're not. They're not flies. And this video is, what, 5.5 minutes long? And this is the controversial one. Okay, I'm going to just show you this quickly. Because it's a first time for me. It's a first time, I think, for anyone. We have a UAP go across here in a second. Do you hear that? Exactly when that UAP goes across the screen, we hear that voice note, okay? And so many people have said, look, it's a EVP or whatever. I struggle to believe that, because I've analysed so many clips, okay, and I normally listen for the click just in case we get a radio hit, right? That's the only reason why I picked it up. Normally, if you're going to pick up something like that, you can hear quite a few people talking in the background. Honestly, like, that lawnmower is not close to the camera because it would be much louder. It would have to be someone shouting for that voice to be carried over, and we would have heard it in the clip. That's my opinion based on all the research I've done. You guys are going to have to let me know what you think. It's controversial, but I tell you what, once people get over the fact that these are real and this is a real UFO, the question becomes secondary then about the voice note, although it becomes very important, I'm sure. Once people get around the fact that these are real, everyone's going to want to know what the hell that thing was saying, potentially. And look, I've analysed so many videos, that is a first for me. I just wanted to bring it up again. But that's North Carolina, folks. Same objects, same speed, different country. Moving on. Ben in Cornwall in the UK. He sent me this in a little while ago. And honestly, I'm going to just turn it up now so you can hear. You hear the UAP on the approach, and as they pass the camera, they move the smegging camera. They're going that fast. Check it out. I've done the stops, I've done the enhancements. Check out the video. This thing is a little saucer. And there's more than one object there. 3, I think. They're just moving that fast, guys. Now, if anyone's like, oh, that's rubbish, that's just a gust of wind. Ben was recording for about 10 minutes. There was no wind in any part of the clip. And he's been recording every week since. And he's captured some amazing stuff. And I'm going to take you on to the next one. And honestly, like, I just can't fault the guy. He's trying different experiments. And on this occasion, in fact, I'm going to load it up with the other player. On this occasion, he throws a frisbee into the air. And this is number 2, by the way. Now, he's done this 3 times. 3 times he's thrown a frisbee into the air, and 3 times the UAP have attempted, if not gone right through the middle of it. And it's not a case of, oh, it's just luck, they're just bugs. Throw a frisbee into the air and see how many bugs try and aim for the middle of it, and then do it 2 and 3 days on the trot and see where you get. You won't get one bug go through it. But of course, Ben gets a UAP go through it several times over. You know. And there will still be deniers out there. But I can tell you now, this is going to drive the scientists absolutely potty. If anyone's on the fence with this, it's going to drive them nuts. Check this out. You see that UAP there? I'll just show you guys again. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that 2 days in a row with a bug. You just couldn't. You can't tame a bug and train it to do that, right? And this thing is moving quick. If I was to take this off of slow motion, you wouldn't see it. You just wouldn't see it. In fact, I'm going to do that now so that you guys have got a good example. You just see a flicker. And like I said, this is not 1, not 2. This is 3 times in a week, baby. There is no chance in hell that these UAP aren't real. And this is what I'm on about when I say I question the size, because this thing clearly, the frisbee is not being chucked 30k feet into the air, okay? And this thing clearly isn't the size of a basketball. Right, it's the size of a pea. So we've got a problem on our hands in terms of finding these things. We have an absolute issue on our hands. And this is why I call for cameras in the skies, folks, because the more cameras we have, the more we can learn. And it, you know, Robert didn't find out on his own about the size of these things. He found out about the radio frequencies. He found out about the military because he saw all the military planes and helicopters heading over to Marina del Rey, and he watched them for 14 days before he pulled his camera out. And then when he pulled his camera out, he realised that these little objects were in the way, and that's exactly why they were there. And he's been filming ever since. We're on year 8. 8 years, you know? And this is why it annoys me when people disregard the evidence. People have been working tirelessly hard to get this information out there, and there are UFO researchers that are dismissing it. Do you know how much that pisses me off? Unbelievable. So many creators out there wondering, are we alone? Is this stuff real? Just pull your cameras out, guys. You'll capture. Okay, let's go on to Maggie in Australia. Honestly, did you see how quick that was? Now, if anyone was like, oh, come on, that was a bug behind the camera, by the lens, it wasn't. It comes from behind this bush and it makes a beeline round this pole and goes over this way. Check this out, folks. I'm going to have to load it up on the other player. I apologise. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous speed. And Josh, if you're still watching, I have said to you in the Discord server before I left, you can go and speak to Maggie in Australia, in Brisbane, and she will tell you what she's capturing. Look at that, it's over there now. Just going back. Look at this thing. It's here. Right? It's just gone like that and around this pole. You know? It's like it's following the power lines there. And that's not the only one. You know, we're only seeing one object here. If you look right from the start, there's actually two. There's one that zips even faster right past before you even notice it's there. It's gone. Look, it's gone already. See that? And then another one just follows it. Anyway, Maggie sent about 30 videos to me since Christmas. She's capturing all the time, okay? She's captured underneath her porch. This thing's flown out from her porch and up into the sky. She's filmed them by her window. She's filmed them at the bus stop. She's filmed them in her garden here. They are everywhere, okay? UAP Central in Australia at the moment. So this was the one, and I got this very early on into my channel when I started my channel, folks. So this came from Karen Rickson Thomas, okay, and her son-in-law. Now, just bearing in mind that you already called one of her videos a bug, okay? She's a remote viewer. She's an experiencer, and she actually said 3 weeks before she was going to go to Wales that she was going to capture me a UFO for my channel. She didn't just capture one, she captured a whole lot of things going on here. Everything you see zipping through the sky is a UAP, including this little thing. They're all moving way too fast, and when I saw this, I was the first person to see it on the big screen, and I was just gobsmacked. Now, I didn't know all these things were UAP. Honestly, I thought they were just bugs, until this white object appears from the bottom of the screen and makes its way up, and you can see the tree line here. This thing is moving up the screen, okay? Mick West tried to tell me that this thing was not moving, okay? He tried to tell me that it was some kind of seed fluff, it wasn't moving, and there's no way I could prove it. Well, Mick, you're a mate. That's all I'm going to say. I think there's a lot of people out there that think that as well, so I'm good with saying that. Anyway, anyone who decides to push back on disclosure will get that attitude from me. You need to start having critical minds, honestly. And Mick West, being a video analyst, he should be able to look at this and know, okay? But anyway, denial is denial. This object starts shooting out orbs at ridiculous speeds. There's one. It's just fired one out. And I'm telling you, within 1/10 of a second, this thing leaves the screen. It is going super quick. I'll just play that again for you guys. Yeah, it fires out an orb, then it goes invisible, by the way, because it clearly knows it's being watched, okay? Now, this doesn't just fire out one orb, it fires out multiple orbs, okay? And it was quite high up in the sky in this moment. Karen and Kit could barely see it, but they could see it with the naked eye. Note, they couldn't see all the other UAP darting around in the screen. Now, why is this really compelling, other than the fact that we've got a jellyfish-like UAP shooting out orbs surrounded by other UAP? Why is it compelling? Because we've got a portal or a type of energy port opening up right here. And this is where I need to do a slow down motion and a contrast change just to quickly show you guys. Now, for anyone that has been watching the channel, I apologise for showing this to you yet again, but clearly people haven't got the message, and this is why we need to keep it up, keep showing. And I don't mean to bore everyone, but I've just got to do what's good for disclosure. Okay, so now I've got the contrast change right. You can see the UAP zipping through, and check this portal out that's opening up here, folks. It starts rotating round in a circle. Look at those, look at that. And the UAP are actually aiming for the centre of this portal. Yeah, you can see them actually coming out and aiming for it. Now, I don't know what type of portal this is, whether it's one that they use for travel or whether it's one they use for energy or communication. I don't know. But it's there. And these UAP are surrounding this white object. Okay, this white object that's seemingly shooting out these orbs. It's doing a morning shift up there, folks. And that's not the only portal, okay? There's actually three. There's one there in the middle of the screen as well. And there's one here to the far right, which does show itself on occasion. So as far as I'm concerned, there's three pockets of energy up there with a lot of UAP surrounding it. And this was in Newtown, Wales, okay, in the summer of last year, one of many videos. In fact, there were 12 UAP videos taken across all of Wales during the month of June and July, and they were all really, really good captures, this one being the best, okay? And again, I put it all on the channel for everyone to see. I wasn't very big then, I'm still not big now, but people need to see that. That is legit. There's not a white object in the sky around the world that can fire out orbs at thousands of miles an hour. Never mind the energy pockets seemingly appearing around that thing, and then all the UAP on top. And why was that clip important? Because it was showing the exact same Dragon UAP that we're seeing in all these other videos. All these other videos, which tells me that that thing was surrounded by UAP. That was one of the highest activity videos I've ever seen. And it's really important that we get to grips with this. They give off radio frequencies. They travel fast enough that we can't see them with our eyes, and they look like bugs on camera, okay? But because they give off radio frequencies, because they come in different shapes and sizes, and because they're getting close to the people, we should be looking at this, okay? We should be developing cameras to see these things from the ground. We shouldn't be looking and investing so much into space right now. If we try and understand what's already here on the planet, we will make some huge advancements. Huge advancements, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure of it. So, look, folks, I don't know, I mean, there's so much more I could show you guys. I just feel like I've done my job here. I've done everything I could possibly have done to try and convince you guys that these things are real. It's hard to believe that something the size of your fingernail up to something the size of a football and a bit larger can be up in our skies undetected, operating freely. But let me remind you, Congress are fully aware, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the UAP reporting, they are fully aware, and I'm pretty sure, fairly confident, it's not just the US that are aware of these things, okay? This sort of data will get shared again amongst intelligence communities that the US work with. I'm sure the UK are one of them. We've had all sorts of sightings in the UK, okay? We've had saucers, we've had Dragon, these hockey puck UAP, we've had the white orbs, we've also had that white jellyfish looking thing, and that one's new. That one was new to me last year. We have since seen it around the world, different parts, different places, not quite as busy as that, but we have seen it. So look, things to measure, radio frequencies, X and K band. If you can get a radio detector, attach it to your camera or near your camera, have both running, and you will capture not only visually, but you'll capture the radio hits as well. Even set up a second camera so that you've got it coming from two different angles so that you can be sure. Crosses off any hesitant reactions from people. If people can think about this in a critical way, they will understand exactly what we're talking about. And I've currently got, I would hate to say it, I would hate to say how many of my subscribers are actually filming the skies, but I'm flooded every single day on my WhatsApp, on my email, on my Discord with just evidence. Evidence. It's coming in from all different parts of the world, folks. These things are close to us. They're baitable. If you've got a drone, fly your drone up into the sky, have it hovering right there in the sky, put a camera on it and just film. You will likely capture one of these things. They've seen everywhere. Egypt, America, Canada, Australia, Britain, Europe, all of Europe, Russia, Spain. I've got it all. Germany. It's all on the channel, folks. There's over 200 videos here. You can just look at your heart's leisure. I don't get everything right, okay? Unfortunately, these things do mimic bugs and birds, and I show great mimicry videos of these objects seemingly just pushing out plasma and looking like a dragonfly for a split second. They're really good at doing that, but we have outsmarted them in the sense that we know they are there. We know kind of what they're capable of. Probably only 2%, but we know that they can move fast. We know they can go invisible. We know that they can even travel through hard objects like wood, like walls. We've seen it happen. So we've seen them coming out of the road, you know, from underneath the tarmac and just pop up. You know, we've got it all there. So folks, please pay attention. Subscribe to the channel. Support what we're doing. Support all the other guys that are willing to support this. Okay? Push it. Push it out there to the content creators. Because I'm really struggling now to watch other people talk about UFO stuff and not even know what they're looking for. It's hard work, it really is, and it's my job as someone who's running a disclosure channel, not to so much call people out, but to correct them, to put them in the right lane, okay? And I want people to create channels, to do the research. I want 1 million people just like me, but to do a better job than me, because if that happens, this gets out there a lot quicker and I can relax. So that's what I want to happen, folks. Please like, subscribe, watch the videos, share all the compelling stuff. Thank you for your time, take care, all the best, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.